Voters are actually furious. Voters are really pretty disgusted with everything that we've seen. Biden out there referring to Trump supporters as garbage. I mean, think about that. Garbage, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a good place to be.
You know, I've been a Republican my whole life, and it's a privilege to be a Republican and a conservative, and I stand for conservative values, and I think I can process thoughts and have my own thought pattern, and to be called garbage for those thoughts is not necessarily an uplifting comment.
Are you surprised?
No, not at all. No, not coming from him or his party.
You see, I think you're going to see a lot more of that. I think people are going to be disgusted, maybe not necessarily surprised. After all, it follows on the heels of what Kamala's been saying. It follows what Hillary Clinton said back in 2016. And so it's not necessarily that people are surprised, but they got to be disappointed. In other words, you can't go out there and cancel half the country and just write them off. You just can't do that. And Americans are looking at everything right now. They're assessing everything. They realize we have a border problem. She did very little in that speech to sort of quell any concerns about the border. And they realize we have an economic problem. And all of these things increasingly could lead to more international problems. John Meacham, who's this historian that's like basically in the back pocket of Joe Biden. I mean, I say that because John Meacham was one of the people that Biden brought in to the White House initially because he was wondering how he could really make his mark on history and be like the next FDR. And so Meacham is one of those people that was sort of the consultant trying to help him along. Of course, what Biden didn't quite grasp was you kind of needed the House and the Senate if you were going to do this big sweeping legislation. He couldn't get it done. The one thing he did want to get done was that quote unquote Inflation Reduction Act, which did nothing but quadruple the price of everything because they flooded the market with more dollars and really screwed us up, which is why he's feeling some of the pain he's feeling right now. Anyway, John Meacham was out there basically saying, you've got to vote for Kamala because you know what? You know, Americans just fundamentally, they need to get it right. Here we go.
No, you know, President Kennedy referred to the office as the vital center of action. And one of the questions we always face is what's going to be the action of the person that we put at the center of that arena. And that's not an ideological term. It's the nature of power, even in a democracy, right? We're shaped by this transaction often between the leaders and the led. And we're only as good as we are. But we can be made a little better if you have a president who speaks the way and who's conducted herself in the way the vice president has. I thought the speech last night was fully part of an American vernacular where you can agree or disagree with this tax rate or that tax rate, but you know what you're getting. You're getting someone who will take the oath seriously. Mm-hmm. You're getting someone who actually sees, you know, as she said, she's not perfect.
I'm going to just jump in. Do you really know what you're getting? Do you really know what you're getting? I think that's perhaps part of the problem. You do know what you're getting. You're getting 3.5 years of inflation, and more inflation. In other words, we know what we're getting, and we don't want more of it. She was asked, she was given a little layup question on The View. Hey, Kamala, is there anything perhaps that you wish that you had done differently? To which the logical person would have responded, if they had any bit of authenticity running through their veins, they would have responded, yeah, you know what? I wish I could have done more to control prices. Prices got way out of whack. And that's the one thing I really regret. Or maybe somebody might have said, hey, you know, I wish I did more as borders are to control what was going on. I wish I had been able to use more in the way of executive power to maybe finish putting up that wall that now I seem to want. I mean, she wasn't going to say any of this, though. You know, I will give Trump credit. Occasionally, he really puts it out there. He'll surprise you with the authenticity and what he'll admit to. But nope, she's perfect, right? She's Little Miss Perfect. She can't possibly do anything wrong. She was asked in a recent swing state interview here, do you really understand the economy? What is it that is your plan to fix the economy? Because people are hurting. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe what she said. I'm sitting there going, I can't believe this. Like, they're giving her layups. They're giving her every opportunity to fix this. I mean, I don't think she's that bright. I don't think she can think on her feet. I think she's memorized a series of talking points, but it's literally a comedy act at this point. Wait till you see it. Here we go.
What's your message to Michigan voters in terms of the economy? We have auto workers who are being laid off and those who fear that they might be laid off. The average person can't afford groceries or their rent. And recent polls in Michigan show that Michigan voters believe that Donald Trump would do a better job with handling the economy and bringing jobs back. What do you say to that?
Well, let's start with this. I come from the middle class, and I'll never forget where I come from. My mother worked very hard. She, by the time I was a teenager, was able to save up for our first home.
Oh my gosh.
And I understand.
Oh my gosh. Every time she's asked a question about the economy, we get, well, I come from a middle class household and my mother worked really hard. And she leaves out the part, of course, that they were living in Canada, in the French-speaking part of Canada. That would be Montreal, because the mother was a professor at McGill University. Not exactly middle class, okay? If it is middle class, they were like super elite, well-educated middle class that spoke French. All right, she didn't even grow up in the United States of America. She didn't come here until it was time to go to college. And that's when she got really into all her ethnicity, went to Howard University, and then went on to law school. Not a great law school, ranked 80-something in the country, and didn't even manage to succeed in her first bar exam. She flunked it, okay? So she's a flunky who grew up in Canada. I just said that. Okay, because I'm annoyed about this. I get a little annoyed when it comes to the economy. I cannot believe how irresponsible Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were with our future, our kids' future. And not just our future, our here and now. You look at these numbers here, groceries up 22%, electricity up 31%, rent up 23%. I'm telling you, this is why. This is why this woman is not going to be able to win. Quick reminder to go over to 76 Research, our financial website, where you can get a whole lot of information about financial markets and what stocks we like to invest in. Lots of different content there. Just a quick look at our top financial pick, up 24%, utility up 24%, real estate up 23%. You get the picture. It's important to put yourself and your financial future first. You can do that at 76 Research, just $1. It costs just $1 with code word dollar, $1 a month for the first 2 months. 76research.com. I'll see you there. You know, 76 is a company I started with my dear friend Rob, and we're really proud of all the success there. And I was just showing you some numbers you saw in that little spot of the S&P versus our portfolio, the medium stock in our portfolio, up 10.6% versus the S&P in the exact same time, up barely about 6%. So you do have to be selective when you're out there trying to figure out what to buy and how to save for the future. So I encourage you to go to 76 Research. We're actually out with a new note today for the holders of our 76 report, which you can get for $1, just $1, and you can cancel anytime, right? So no skin off your back. It's $1 for the first 2 months. Use code word dollar, DOLLAR. Go and register at 76report.com or 76research.com. We do have a holding that we're writing about today that we're still encouraging people to be in. It's a specific name. I want you to know about it. So try it. 76report.com or 76research.com and use code word dollar. Or if you want to get all the names, 10 to 15 in each one of those portfolios, I'll tell you what, go and get the Founders Club. So go click on the Founders Club, go to the model portfolios, get them all, because that is the best value.